Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an unarmed monk hand-to-hand build guide in Oblivion Remastered. So this is decently strong if we use different spells like paralyzing touch like this, so we can literally just beat people up like that. Now the unarmed build does attack both fatigue and health, so you can knock people unconscious kind of like that. It's actually kind of interesting because we can utilize some of the spells that we don't normally wouldn't utilize. Like this paralyzing touch here, which just looks hilarious, being able to knock people down like that and use their bodies to block other people. So all the touch-based spells are going to be much more effective on a build like this, where we can actually utilize them by having to get up close and personal with the people that we're fighting. So I'll be covering a full build guide for this to show you the best options to use if you want to make a very strong open hand unarmed monk. As for best races, the Khajiit is the only one that gets a +10 to unarmed or hand-to-hand skills, so this could be a very viable option. They're also good at acrobatics and make for excellent thieves. We do want a bit of stealth, so this is a actually solid option here. I'm always just a fan of the bread and getting that magical resistance, given a 50% chance to, or 50% magical resistance, as well as 50 plus magicka, as we do want a bit of magic here. And Dark Elf, one of the best races in the game. This also has bonuses to their spellcasting, sword bow, which we're not going to use, but destruction magic we will be using. And they get a 75% resistance to fire damage, the most common elemental damage type in this game, so definitely a worthwhile choice. The Wood Elf is also a nice choice for the increased agility that they get, so strength is mainly used for your unarmed attacks, but having a bit of agility is nice as well. Red Guard's also pretty effective. They got a bit more health, so that's good for survivability. Orc, I would say that Khajiit, Orc, Nord, and Redguard are some solid choices. Even Argonians could be pretty good too, getting some unique benefits there. But Breton and Dark Elf are two of the best races in this game, but Khajiit works very well here. It's entirely your preference, but you could go with any of these here. And I would say any like Redguard, Orc, Nord, Khajiit, Breton, or Dark Elf and have a great time. As for the Birthsign, there's some great ones. The Lord is going to be one of the best. This is changed in the remaster. It used to be the worst, and now it gives you a 15 armor rating, giving you a good amount of armor early game, and also 50% magical resistance. So this is one of the best. Also, the Warrior is great. Strength's going to increase the damage that we do with our unarmed attacks, and Endurance is going to be good for health, so that can be another solid choice. If you want to go Magicka, the Mage is good. The Thief also gives us a +10 to luck, which is, this is always a solid choice for Birthsign. The increased speed can also work well in an unarmed attacker, but that Fortify luck is extremely useful. The Lady is a good choice too for Fortify willpower if you want to be using more, I guess, fatigue and Magicka regeneration, but endurance for the extra health. And the Atronach actually is a pretty solid choice. This gives you increased 150 magicka, but also spell absorption. You can regenerate your own magicka, so that's a big downside to this, but being able to absorb 50% chance of absorbing spells is very, very massive. So I would say the best would be Warrior, Atronach, Lord, Lady. Probably the Lord and the Atronach being like the two absolute best, but if you don't like the way the Atronach plays, that's 100% totally normal. So you could go with like the Warrior, Lady, Lord. So which one of those you prefer best? Even, I guess, the Thief too. Great choice. Now, there is a monk class here, but we're going to be making a better one. This has acrobatics, athletics as skills, which are not great skills to take because they level up so quickly. And I don't really love the mix that they have here. So we're going to go with our own custom class. Now, we're going to go stealth focused or magic focused. This gives a +5 bonus and the skills will increase quicker, so if you prefer more magic, but I think stealth ends up being the better choice there. For our abilities, the best two would probably be strength and endurance for a total powerful monk, because strength's going to give you more damage with your bare hands and maximum health, as well as endurance gives you more maximum health too. Although getting intelligence for more magic is great, because if you want to add in magicka to it as well, you could go that route, and I guess willpower too for increasing maximum fatigue and also your magicka regeneration rate. But strength and endurance are probably the two best stats that you want to increase quickly. So whenever you level up, strength, intelligence, and endurance would be your top choices there. Into the skills. This is where it's kind of interesting because there's a few ways we can go about it. I personally like light armor on the monk. I feel like it fits perfectly. We can also enhance our armor later on in the game, giving us lots of choice there. We're obviously going to need the hand-to-hand skill, affects damage and how much you deal with your bare hands. So that's obviously something that we're going to be utilizing. And sneak is another very important skill to have because stealth is huge, especially since unarmed attacks, you have to get close. So stealth does help quite a bit with that. I do like marksman in addition to this, but I think it's better to focus on some other areas as well. Acrobatics and athletics are kind of wasted skills. I wouldn't fully recommend them. Block can be a good one, but I think it's best to go into magic. And the ones that I would recommend is destruction, because we can now utilize the touch spells, which have a lower magicka cost. And they're going to be a lot more powerful now since we can just get in close and use them there. So we can use that for a variety of different reasons. As you saw, the paralyzing touch is nice, which is an illusion-based spell. I also think conjuration is really nice to have, and restoration. So yeah, we do have more skills in the magicka direction. For good reason. I'm going to explain these. So conjuration gives you something to tank alongside you, so you can go with like a ghost to draw enemies aggro towards them. Conjuration is super useful in this game, especially as a monk, because you need to get really close to punch people. So having this here to draw aggro around, super useful. Destruction, as I said, getting long range spells is also nice, but having the touch based spells actually be useful in this game, super effective. Illusion, because you can do a lot with it. Paralyzing is super useful. Command, you can do a commanding touch to take control of a target. There's a lot of great things. Even silencing targets with illusion spells so that you can literally just stop them from spell casting. And restoration, because we're going to get up and close against enemies. We're going to get hit, and being able to restore our health is super important. So in total, stealth, or you can go for the specialization. We can go with the magic there, since magic does actually have quite a big influence over our skills. Favorite attributes, strength and endurance, although intelligence and willpower are also two very important spells. And then conjuration, destruction, hand-to-hand, illusion, light armor, restoration, and sneak, I would say, are the best to round ourselves out in a variety of different ways. So I'll show off what this will look like in combat. As for magic too, I actually think paralyze is going to be one of the best spells that we got. This is a 10-second paralyze. You don't need it to be this long. This does have quite a high stamina or magicka cost. It's super useful though. And you also can get some like soul traps or soul gems. Leech health on touch is also really nice to be able to absorb health for covering your own. Flame touch, dominating touch to command creatures, and things like your cold touch are super effective. And I would recommend having, again, summons alongside you and some heals. It's also nice to have the shadow spell to give yourself chameleon, and even into armor we can go into wearing stuff that's going to give us, I'm just wearing the Dark Brotherhood here. We do get benefits from our shield, although not using the shield, so this gives us 4 to 5 magic at 50 points, so we can get an extra 50 points magic just from having a shield that we aren't using there. But if we include any type of invisibility, this is going to make this pretty crazy, because we can just hide out and no one can see us if we got our invisibility rings on, so that can be good too. I'm not going to use it because it does cheese the game having 100% chameleon, but you can also get that from spells too to literally hide yourself right away. So this is perfect. Anytime that we're able to stealth, that's going to be the best thing to do. So we can sneak up right behind people, getting an unarmed bonus. Now the power attack doesn't actually stack with it, but we can go ahead with the stealth there, or the paralyzing touch, because then it's just easy to be able to take people out because they're just going to be frozen like that. And then you can just beat them unconscious. Again, stealth is our best friend. This lets us get into our sneak attacks. Although they're not very powerful, we can startle enemies and then get right to paralyzing them. And then using our like burning attacks, like the burning hands there, or the freezing one, which will pretty much just take this character out. If you ever see yourself getting overwhelmed, that's a good time to pull out like a spell that can let us summon. So a Frost Atronach. I also like the Ghost, especially early on. You can summon in the Ghost there and then run around undetected to be able to attack enemies, as the Ghost makes some really nice range attacks, and sometimes they aren't able to actually hit the Ghost, so you can literally just go in there, do your paralyze, and there's conjurers here, so they have their own friends to help out, but they're going to be attracted to attacking our Ghost, so we can just beat up on them. Now mind you, with any type of unarmed, you do have to get very close to be able to deal any type of damage, so that's something to keep in mind. But we also, once we hit level 50 with the with unarmed or hand-to-hand, we're then able to hit ghosts and things that we normally have to have like silver weapons or magical damage to be able to deal damage to. So unarmed is pretty solid overall. You can see here we do have to beat on enemies pretty frequently to be able to get a good amount of damage in, but having a summon that's reliable, like a Frost Atronach, can be really nice just as a way to distract enemies that are coming at us. The zombie is going to take quite a bit to take out, so then we can just go with a paralyzing touch there, and then me and the Atronach can just literally beat it up. Paralyzing touch is going to be a very effective spell here that we don't get until later on, the illusion, so level your illusion stat up, as it's pretty impactful with what you can do with it, as being able to paralyze a target is really effective. You can also knock enemies out because we do fatigue damage whenever we do our punches here, so you don't have to always use this spell, but it is obviously very effective to have, and then we can follow it up with some other touch-based skills here, like this cold one. He came through the floor there, and that was enough to freeze him there. So yeah, with a monk, we want to utilize magic to our best advantage. Early gamers can be punching people a bunch. use any type of gear that's going to boost your strength or hand-to-hand skills, and you're going to have a great time with this. But yeah, that is a hand-to-hand monk unarmed build in Oblivion Remastered. If you got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.